Hello everybody, it's Sophie, and welcome to a very late sequel to my last video. I just want to say before I get started, this video is a little bit choppy because once again, a lot of the footage looks like this. Which we love. Like every time I think I'm past the stage of not getting my full head of hair in the frame, it turns out not only am I not nearly done with it, but my hair's not pleased that I underestimated it, and it hits like 10 times harder. Like in all those sports movies I watched growing up with my dad, you know, like no one expects the underdog to win, so everyone's super confident, and then the underdog came and it played hard, and the underdog right now is my hair, and it beat me so badly, and it took my sports scholarship, and anyways, this is the first weird tangent of this video, so if you're new here, expect some more. I just want to jump in before I start talking about art or anything like that. And even though I don't have a huge platform, it feels weird to post a video during this time without addressing the events happening in the world right now and that have continued to be happening for a long time. I just want to say regarding the heartbreaking event that happened recently and all the other instances of police brutality, please educate yourself, do reading, sign petitions, just do your part. Though my audience is not huge, I think it still is important for me to say something. And on that note, I want to thank everyone who has found my channel recently. I haven't posted on YouTube in a month, which I will get to, but during that time I got to 100 subscribers, and at the end of recording this even more, as well as over 1,000 views, which is beyond exciting, so thank you. And while I know this is like the first stage of YouTube growth, I'm really at that first milestone, and I'm just happy people are enjoying what I'm putting out, so thank you. Okay, now I have a lot to talk about in this video, which is funny because I thought this video would have none of my ramblings, just some lo-fi beats. But honestly, I'm starting to think that may not just be my vibe, and that's okay. Like, I usually prefer to watch videos where people are talking. I love using them as podcasts while I draw. I love hearing why people made decisions. And I honestly love watching videos to see snippets of other people's minds, if that makes sense. Like, see snippets of other people's lives, how they got there, how they think. So part of what made this video very late is I'm just unsure of how I want my videos to be made in the future. I'm working on the format to create videos I would want to consume as well, because for me, part of making videos is not only showing the process of creating art, but also showing my process of, as cheesy as it sounds, manifesting the life that I want. I hate saying that, but what I mean by this is, like, right now, I'm living with my boyfriend, who's, you know, like my best friend, in a small, like really small studio apartment, working on our dreams, and I'd love to show people how I go from this, which is what feels like the real beginning of my life as an independent adult person, and the journey I go on to achieve things I want to achieve, if that makes any sense at all. I think a great example of this type of content is YouTubers like the Purple Palace or Mini Smalls. These are both people who, if you go back on their content, you could really see them trying to figure it out as artists to the point where they are now, where their art and online presence can financially support them. And this as well goes, a great example of this is Patti Smith's Just Kids, which is, you know, a great example of viewing the artist's life and struggle. And it's definitely my favorite autobiography ever written and one of my favorite books. So I'm just working on improving my content and this video because there's just such a long period between filming it and editing it, which made me realize it isn't exactly the type of content I want to create. So now you're left with this eclectic voiceover, but hopefully a more accurate representation of where I am. Another reason this took so long to come out is because, as I mentioned in my last video, I have not created a final piece in a very long time. And by this, I mean, I have not put extended periods of time and care into a piece of art, so I have no recent experience of the pressure of creating art outside of practice and sketchbooks. Now, to be clear, I'm really happy with how this piece came out, but I don't know if I love it. This piece took me almost 3 weeks to make, which may be obvious by my ever-changing nail situation. Like, you can literally witness the nail growth cycle by skipping throughout this video. And mostly this is because every time I started the piece, I went into it confident, and if I messed anything up even a little bit, I'd abandon it for a few days, which is an ongoing issue I am trying to work on. And, I mean, here's a random tangent, sorry, but it came, you know, to me when I was making this piece. When I was younger, I took piano lessons with this wonderful, vibrant Sri Lankan lady who was just one of those people whose energy you'll never forget. And every year we'd have this piano recital in her basement where all the people who took her lessons would have their family come and watch everyone play, and you'd eat random finger foods and whatnot. And me being the never-changing perfectionist I still am today, would always be so scared to mess up my songs that I wouldn't even practice them. which obviously is counterintuitive, but like, you know, life as a perfectionist is as well. And Regini, my piano teacher, told me that the only people who will actually know you messed up are you, me, and the person who wrote the song, so you have nothing to be scared of. Basically, the only way someone else will know you've messed up is if you linger and make it obvious, but if you keep playing, no one else will know. Now, looking back, I guess technically all the other piano students would know because everyone played the same songs every year, but, you know, the point is still true. When you're creating a piece of art for yourself, no one else will ever know if there's a mistake. It's just amplified in your eyes because you know how you want it to be. But mistakes aren't the end of the world, and I had a lot of trouble working on this piece when I saw things that were messed up, but now looking at it, I don't even see those mistakes. Anywho, that tangent story aside, there are mistakes I see, but mostly, here's my full circle, people. The mistake is mostly with my attitude. Because the piece of art looks cool. Now, another reason this video is late, I'm just mentioning for the purpose that this is relevant. I have an 8-year-old MacBook, which hates me and hates that I post YouTube videos because it works perfectly for everything except for iMovie. So I'm using my boyfriend's laptop to edit this, and it's taken me a long time to figure out how I can edit on this. So I am using now DaVinci, if you're curious, if you have a Windows and you need a free editing software. And I'm not mentioning this because my slow laptop is inconvenient. I'm mentioning this because this has brought up another issue, which is I haven't been able to edit for a while now because of my laptop. So I've been saving art for videos and therefore not creating art on my own. You know when vloggers never want to turn off their camera because they may miss some good content for vlogs, and we can all recognize that that's unhealthy? I've basically developed that for my art. Now, instead of not creating art because I'm scared it'll be bad and I'll mess up, I'm not creating art because I'm scared it'll be good and I won't have filmed it. Because to be quite honest, I feel my channel does not completely reflect the art I want to create, and that's okay because I want my channel to depict my journey through art and life, but this doesn't mean that every piece has to be good. But right now it feels every good piece is sacred and a waste if not filmed, and this ultimately has affected my relationship to art, and I have basically created art block for myself. So because I couldn't edit this video, I didn't create art, and because I wasn't creating any art, I didn't find a way to edit my video because by the time I edited it, the video, I was just not the same person who created that piece of art, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I don't know, it forced me to analyze my relationship with art, and if you're creating art online in any way, I think that you need to create art for yourself, and that's really important to actually develop as an artist. Okay, now that I've gone the most of the video without talking about the piece of art at all, I guess we'll do that. This is the follow-up to my last piece, making it the second video in my process exploration series where I work on developing a healthy, which is a keyword that wasn't included in my description of this challenge before, a healthy, efficient, and effective process to creating bigger pieces. Also, you know, working on my confidence. So this piece, I used the Calligraphy ink block and inkstone, which I showed in my last video. And honestly, though I hadn't started using this until last month, I think it was the perfect material to start with because you really need to sit down and grind the ink on the inkstone, which is a relaxing way to start painting. And it also forced me to sit down and not give up because once the ink was ground, I couldn't waste it and not work on the piece. So that helped me gain some confidence. Now, when I generally create art, I have no meaning in mind, so like my brain is just a chaotic mess, and you could probably tell from my video here and my voiceover. But I don't go into a piece wanting it to create something, wanting it to represent something when I create it. That being said, creating the piece itself, generally my thoughts come out in the art, and tons of new ideas are created. And for this piece, the original meaning that I will now analyze, because I don't know what the original meaning really was, but if I had to guess in an unbiased way, I think it represents my messy brain and the effect it has on people around me. Like, when I look at this, I see, in a non-negative way, me cracking the egg, which is my brain, on the face of me, like it's the backlash of whatever's in my brain, and the splash off of the contents of the egghead, which is me, hitting my boyfriend. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but truly, I enjoy that with art, is like deriving meaning afterwards, because your piece of art could show you something you didn't know what you were creating. And I know this could be a totally separate video, but I think I'm going to leave it here because I have so much I could say, but then these videos would be so long. I just want to say thank you if you've made it to this point in this video. And thank you for subscribing because I've recently gained subscribers even without posting. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.